right, welcome back to another amazing discussion from the Phenom NBA show, and we're going to talk about who the better center is slash player. Is it Joel Embiid? Is it Nikola Jokic? Trey, I'm going to ask you first. Who do you think is the better player slash center here?
I believe it's Nikola Jokic because right now he's having the greatest offensive season probably ever by a center. You could argue just in general big man in NBA history. Currently averaging between 27, 28 points per game, 11 rebounds, almost 9 assists. I mean, he's almost averaging a triple-double as a center. Shooting, true shooting percentage of nearly 65%. His field goal percentage is absurdly high. Free throw percentage of almost 90%. Shooting over 40% from three. I do think his field goal percentage is over 51%, somewhere in that range. So he's one of the most efficient players we have in the entire league. His vision and his passing is something I've never seen before, other than maybe the likes of the LeBrons of the world and those type of players, the Jason Williams, those big names, the guys we see the highlight reel passes out of. So he has such electrifying passing in his vision. I will say defensively, he's not nearly as good of a defensive player as Joel Embiid, but I do think he negates that because he has such an impact offensively. Everything goes through Jokic, to the point where I don't think it matters how much of a liability he is defensively. He does so much offensively that I think it, quite honestly, negates whatever happens defensively. And he's getting better defensively. So I think you can manage whatever happens defensively with him because he's so good offensively.
I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I think Joel Embiid is the best center in the NBA. And, I know you were talking about Jokic's defensive ability, and that's what gives Embiid the edge to Jokic, in my opinion, because offensively, outside of Jokic's passing ability, which is amazing, they're almost like in terms of like their post game and and how they score and like their shooting and stuff, their efficiency numbers and the way they score are nearly identical, and like the edge that Jokic gets, the passing ability, and then for Embiid, it's on the defensive end. I don't see Jokic switching out on pick and rolls and guarding perimeter players and protecting the rim at the same time, because Jokic is almost the liability in that aspect. And Embiid, on the other hand, he's guarding the team's best big man, and then you could switch him out from pick and rolls because he's not going to be a liability, hold his ground. And then on offense, what he can bring. He's, in my opinion, the best post player in the league. I mean, he has an array of moves that he could score with and all that stuff. And he's averaging 31 points a game, including a 50-pointer on Friday night. And obviously his rebounding numbers, you know what you're going to get from him. So. And, Philly, without Embiid, is one of the worst defensive and offensive teams in the league. I mean, we've seen it. They're like, I believe, 1-6 without Embiid this season. So it shows the impact that the guy has. And I feel like it's a greater impact than Jokic, because for Embiid, when you lose him, you're losing his defensive and offensive ability. And that's just too valuable for this Sixers team. And that's why I think Embiid's the better player, because of his two-way ability.
I think that Jokic is a better player, but it's very, very close. Even though, okay, what if I told you guys that Nikola Jokic this season has more defensive win shares than Joel Embiid does? Nikola Jokic this season has 1.5 defensive win shares. Joel Embiid has 1.4.
So they're basically the same.
Now, I don't know how you want to take that, but that is insane because it's a pretty obvious thing that Joel Embiid is a better defender than Nikola Jokic. And if you look at past years, Jokic's defensive win share since he got in the league, he had 2.2 his rookie year, and then 2, and then 2.9, 4.3, and then 3.1. Embiid, on the other hand, went 1.5 his 2017 to 3.8 to 3.8 to 2.7 to 1.4.
I think for Jokic, a large part of it has to do with Jokic isn't really a shot blocking big.
Embiid is.
He does provide some rim protection, but Jokic, if you've ever watched him play, he's very good at being very like nitpicky with the ball. Okay, kind of like Patrick Beverly in a sense. Like he gets his hands in there. He gets a lot of steals basically. Like he's really good at navigating with his hands with the ball, and he can get steals very passive aggressively. So I think that's where a lot of his defense. I think that's where a lot of those like advanced statistics come from. I think purely as a defensive player, he's not anywhere near Embiid, but in terms of just stat wise, I think he gets some steals off of like just playing passing lanes and stuff like that. So he does have some value on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, Richard, continue with your Jokic
I got
point.
you.
So,
All right. So I agree that I think that Jokic is a slightly better player. Recently, it's been Joel Embiid, but throughout the span of this entire season, I'm gonna say it's Nikola Jokic. His playmaking at the center position might be the best that we've ever seen. Not just from his assist stats, which are insane in within itself, but the gravity that he has as a player offensively, his ability to score for himself in the post and even from beyond the three-point line, and also his ability to just find the open man and create plays for his teammates is almost unheard of from a guy. Because when you think of the center position, you think get the ball in the post, you think score, you think rebound. Jokic is playmaking like a guard, comparable to a point guard at the center position. That is insane, especially since he's not bringing the ball up, since he's not the guy that's calling the play. So what he's doing at the center position is very, very impressive. He has very similar shooting stats to Joel Embiid. I believe very similar 3-point percentage. I think Embiid has one less attempt per game than Jokic does.
yeah, he does. Embiid attempts about 3 threes a game.
And Jokic is about 4. And plus, Jokic is more consistent. Yes, you can make the argument that Philly has more wins this year, better win percentage, which is very much true. I think Denver's going to pick it up, and I think Jokic's value as a player, whatever, is going to increase as the value of the Denver Nuggets increase this season, because the Nuggets are going to catch up. They were insane last year in the playoffs. They got to the Western Conference Finals, lost in, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 games to the eventual champion Los Angeles Lakers. Very impressive. Came back from 2-3-1.
Lost in 5. I think.
They lost in 5. Sorry, I was thinking.
You're good.
I was thinking of Lakers beating the Heat in 6 for whatever reason. But the Nuggets were insane. Jamal Murray did pop off in the bubble. Him and Donovan Mitchell just went back and forth, and one of the most underrated. I'm getting off topic. Excuse me. But that's gonna. If anybody has any final thoughts, go right ahead. Because in my opinion, Jokic is slightly better.
I mean, I'm the lone wolf here, but I stick to my guns. So.
I will say it is very close. I think you guys both make very accurate and valid points. Richard's defensive win shares thing kind of, I don't want to say proves Jokic is better, because I think at the end of the day, it depends on your schematic fit and what you want to accomplish as a team. Because some teams, like maybe Utah, you want Joel Embiid because you want to be a defensive first team, and Joel Embiid's going to accomplish that for you. And if you're like the Atlanta Hawks, who don't really play, or Brooklyn Nets, and you don't play defense, Nikola Jokic is your guy. So to me, it just depends on what you prefer. I just prefer Jokic because offensively, there's really not a weakness in his game. And to me, they both have put so much time in, and they're both a lot healthier, and they're just more fit now, and they can play a lot of minutes. So to me, it's really up for grabs. So we'll see.
For more creative, informative, and high-quality sports content, make sure to follow Phenom on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as all of the Phenom podcast channels for each sport. The link tree in the episode description includes a direct link to all of the aforementioned platforms, so click on that to access everything. Phenom boasts a team of over 100 youth contributors from around the world, covering every sport on every media platform. If you are interested in potentially joining the Phenom team as a writer or content creator, send an email to cole@phenommedia.net showing your interest. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so we can grow the channel. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.